Hello friends, we're back. Thank you for joining me for this program designed to look at our town government and business, how it operates, and the people involved in its operation and the business operations locally. I would like to welcome Marcia Lafemina of Penn of North Branford. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
How are you tonight?
I am great.
You are great.
A little tired, but great.
Well, yeah, that's how we roll.
Right.
My name is Dan Armin, and welcome to I Want to Know. So, Marcia, Penn Globe, why don't you go into a little bit of history of Penn Globe and North Branford and your history with the company?
It's a long history, that's for sure. Penn Globe is the oldest outdoor street lighting company in the country, not under continuous ownership, but it does have its roots back to 1877. Our family has been here in North Branford as the owners of the company since 1995.
Was the first product in Pennsylvania, is that where Penn comes from? Or?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, okay.
And migrated down to Baltimore and stayed in the Mid-Atlantic and then wound up back up here.
And in the 90s you ended up back here?
Yep, 1995, and I say it's a family business. My sister and myself are second generation, and we now have some of our children are participating in the business in our third generation.
What part of the business interested you the most when you were growing up?
That's an interesting question. I went to school as an art major, so this wasn't really my plan, but there were events, and because I could draw, I started back in the day when you did drawings by hand.
So we actually used pencils.
Absolutely. Did the submittal drawings of the light fixtures, and then things just kind of morphed from there.
Can you explain what your role is today?
I'm the president of the company, which is everything from everything, that I can participate in. My sister works the sales area, the inside sales areas, specification sales, and we have a small group. We're still small.
How many employees do you have?
We're 13 right now, 13 people. A tight group, and really proud of that. It's one of the things that I think that in our second generation, we've got a more cohesive group, interaction between the shop and the front of the house and the back of the house, if you will, which kind of has let us be able to say honestly that, everybody, to the best of our ability, we treat like family.
It's a family.
Absolutely.
Do you do all the design in-house as well?
We do. I have a chalkboard in my office, and we're pretty good at what used to be on napkins is a chalkboard, and we take it from there. So we think our small size keeps us nimble, and we think that's an advantage to our growth. We're not the large multi-million-dollar lighting companies
full of non-responsive,
selling the same thing all the time. I mean, that makes a big difference when you can paint somebody's light fixture green or recreate something that's 6 feet tall that was a replica of a boardwalk fixture in Revere Beach that goes back to the 1890s.
You can do that.
We do it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's good.
And do you also handle contracts like when New York City wants to redo all the street lights?
Well, we don't actually have New York City.
Okay.
But
well,
other major municipalities, major municipalities. We don't sell to a lot of the large utilities. That's where the larger people in the industry are.
Okay.
We're the people who sell to, we make the light fixtures at Yukon and Princeton and cities like Savannah and Charleston and Fairfield and Guilford, and so half municipal, half institutional, and then every once in a while there's a Broadway show or a film that's being made up in Canada, and we get to do fun stuff like that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic. So what is your typical day? I mean, do you tend to do a lot of marketing, or do you answer the phone?
Well,
what is
we
your
kind of
focus?
had a strategy that for the last couple of years that I could go out on the road and meet face to face with our customers, because we can proudly say that we've got on average a 99% customer retention rate, and there are people that I cut my teeth with. I specifically looked to Princeton, and the man who's responsible there It's probably like 80 now, and I met him when I was in my 20s.
Okay.
So, you know, you get to have that outside bond by
Rapport,
being
for sure.
on the phones, but also in meeting people. And so that's what I've been doing, a lot of traveling.
Well, it is okay.
Yeah.
What role does the state and federal government have in your product? Right, your design, your implementation. How does that work? I mean, you have regulations you have to fulfill, I presume, to some degree, unless it's all.
Yes, but the state has not been in any way at all a liability or restrictive to our business. They've been nothing but helpful.
Fantastic.
So
supportive.
I can say that we had no experience with the state, and I'll say that out there. I mean, we probably had the same view that most people did. Like, you kind of want to stay away from the state. You want to stay under the radar of anybody who's in government.
Sure.
Just do your business. But it's a long story, but one little phone call in January of 2013 changed everything. And it was a little bit of this, and then we found out that there was assistance to help us out. At that time, specifically, we were moving into LEDs from the other more traditional light sources that I won't bore you with our industry, but we were moving into LEDs.
Okay.
And we were able, through channels, but ultimately from the state, to get incumbent worker training to train our people in
the new
LEDs.
technology.
Absolutely. And from there, other opportunities as far as grants for new product development, assistance with new product development, some low interest long-term loans to help us grow the business and be the kind of company that we want to be at the same time. And this is a little boastful, but I'm going to boast. But,
go for it.
Okay, great. We still are one of the dinosaur companies that still pays for everybody's medical insurance. And a lot of paid vacation, like I said, and in our company, so far, you have a life, you have a child, and your child gets sick, we shouldn't be docking your pay because you got to go home and take care. You're expecting a 40-hour paycheck, and we kind of make those things happen. We couldn't do that and develop new products because we were moving into new technologies. So we have been the recipients of support, not just financially, but just support for what we're doing and the kind of company that we are, and that we're women-owned, and that we're small and trying to fight big guys in the industries. And it's been a wonderful experience. And so now, we give back where we can.
And so then the key thing is you are able to be responsive to your clients, and it seems like the state has been responsive to you as a client, right?
Without a doubt.
Everybody needs everybody to retain
Absolutely.
each other.
And more than one,
Brantford?
well, North Brantford has been fabulous. I don't know that anybody knew we were here.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know anybody.
That's why I'm doing this, though, because
nobody knew we were here until 2013. I mean, I've told this story 100 times, but not to talk politics, but I'm just going to do it. But,
that's what we do here too.
Rosa DeLauro was kind enough to. Her office was kind enough to call and ask if I would like to host an event with Nancy Pelosi. And it was a large event, and I needed parking because I don't know what I was going to do with the Secret Service and all these people who were coming, and there was 200 people coming to our little, 15,000 square foot building.
Wow.
So a visit to town hall said, "Hi, I'm here. I need some help."
Yeah.
And once that connection was made, then again, all of us helping each other. But we were just this little company on the top of the hill since 1995. I don't think anybody knew who we were.
Right.
And I don't blame them. We weren't doing anything. Again, you stay under the radar, pay your taxes, and move along.
And just moving along, right.
Yep.
So then that really helped with your notoriety, I guess. Or your exposure.
I think people thought I was more involved than I was, and more connected, to use the word, than I was. But the opportunity that it gave me to be involved in chamber work and New Haven manufacturers and the Workforce Alliance and the United Way of Greater New Haven, and the opportunity that it gave us to be a functional participant in the community has been amazing. So
you're running this business, and now, now's a good time to go into like what initiatives you're working on, because you are huge in the community, locally and statewide. So please feel free to talk about the initiatives you're working on. Workforce Alliance, correct?
Right. Well,
Just one of them.
yes, it is, and you have to forgive me because it does sound boastful, and this makes me uncomfortable. But it'll bring me.
This show is about you.
Well, it'll bring
it's
us
about the
to
business, but it's about you too and what you're doing in the
Well,
community.
I just got to be the face for the company.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the company who has been doing this, but we inched our way into involvement in the community. For instance, in the very beginning, right after Sandy Hook, we were able to help support the Merchants Association in Sandy Hook because they knew where we were, so they reached out. Prior to that, they wouldn't have done that. We wouldn't have known that kind of connection. The United Way was planting gardens for the communities in Fairhaven, and our crew volunteered to go there on a Saturday afternoon and plant gardens. So we just kind of kept doing all these different things. I was asked by the Workforce Alliance to help with a program, a small way, that they were running inside the Whaley Avenue Correctional Facility to get soon-to-be ex-offenders job ready.
Wow, yeah.
So I was able to go down and into the belly of the prison, if you will, and meet a whole nother part of the population that I certainly didn't know anything about.
Right.
And after I had done that for a couple of times, well, other people in my company asked if they could go too. So it's kind of been this growing spider web of physically, because we don't have a lot of money individually or as a company, but we do have time and we do care and we want to do what we can do. So, but myself personally, I became more involved in the Workforce Alliance because I could see that this whole area of maybe I could do something with helping under and unemployed, always saying, as long as I can actually do something, I don't have time to sit around. I don't want to sit around in a bunch of talking heads because I'm not a talking head.
And you can see the needs that the state has to fill. The companies are looking for people, qualified people, and there's qualified people out there that are looking for an employer.
Absolutely.
And it's about, as you said, meeting, having these two entities meet each other. And before we're on air, we were talking about these different initiatives and how people are coming up with different tools that they may have to throw into this pot to make this puzzle complete.
And specifically, as it starts with the Skill Up program that the Workforce Alliance is running right now. And we could take a whole show on that, but I won't do it. But basically, small classes, roughly 20 people, who are paid $100 a week stipend to go and get 5 weeks of training in basic manufacturing mechanics, if you will, blueprint reading and calibration. They have to punch in and punch out, in their 8-hour school day.
Or maybe measuring, devices like mics and micrometers.
Yep, absolutely.
Utilizing tools of the industry.
Six Sigma. They leave with a pre-apprenticeship certificate. So it's
Six Sigma too. That's really valuable.
So there's quite a bit going on there, and the idea being that marrying up employers in the area, specifically in the greater New Haven area, because obviously this is a New Haven-run program, and marrying them up, and then the Workforce Alliance has incumbent worker training to help further their training once they're hired to that specific company. It's a great program.
Grooming is about grooming, new employees, making them to fit your needs, right?
And in the meantime, speaking of needs, for the last couple of years, I was on the workforce committee at the New Haven Workforce Development Committee at the New Haven Manufacturers Association. So in the last year or two, I've been fortunate enough to have been offered a seat on both those boards.
Wow.
So I see it as my value is to help exchange that information, good or bad, but how we're doing, what we need, what we should tweak. But it's a program that's in growth, and to the point that you were bringing before, it's quickly getting to the point where it's time for the whole community to become involved because, who are the people, who are the employers, specifically who are the employers that are willing to, work the program. So got a lot of potential, and to plug the Workforce Alliance, we got a $3.4 million grant from the state to be able to run and make a success out of this, and it will reach down to the schools.
And and there are a lot of issues that we have to deal with, but there also those issues are solutions potentially, like transportation, meeting the needs for transportation of, for example, training, transportation, access.
Yeah, I think you're aware there's a program in the East that started all of this, which was phenomenal, and it's a great program, but it is not an urban program. We have specific things that we, there are challenges, but to your point, there are opportunities.
Right.
And I'm confident that we'll be able to do it because there are an awful lot of people in this area that want the same thing and want
success.
Absolutely. For their companies, for the individuals, for the community, for the growth, all these things. And in my view, a successful program in New Haven would be a wonderful recruiting tool for economic development in New Haven County. No question about it.
It's all a collaboration. When North Branford works with Branford on issues and Branford works with, Westbrook or other communities, it's a collaboration. We all succeed.
And there are so many levels to all of that, but there's a serious migration of a certain age group in the 20s to the 30s that are leaving.
Yeah. They get educated here.
We could change that.
And we need to retain them.
We could change that with this program as it develops.
Right. And then also, historically, manufacturing has not, had such a wonderful reputation, right? But it's not manufacturing of old, right? When they were making, globes, 50 years ago, 70 years ago, they're technical centers now. And we're working with high-tech equipment, CNC operated, it's clean, it's safe, you're not putting yourself at risk, and, it's productive.
Well, we are not that high-tech company, just so we say. We're still old school, new ideas.
Well, we're training people for these new atmospheres.
For these new jobs, absolutely. And that they all use the same phrase, that dark,
there aren't a lot of chalkboards out there anymore, like in your office. I don't know about that. But.
I don't know, but it works.
It works.
It works.
For some.
It makes us work. But no, the point is that it's not dangerous, and it's not. But the change that has to happen is at the superintendent level. There's little argument about that. Superintendents of schools have always been judged, to the best of my knowledge, on how many kids go to college.
Right.
Not how many kids have successful careers or what they do. And it has taken now a handful of renegade, including our own here in North Branford.
Yes, Scott Shoemaker.
We should give him props for this.
Absolutely.
He sees that it's life skills.
Right.
Those life skills drive you to college.
He started the mechanics program at the high school.
And he wants more.
And I know, because it's a need.
But he gets it.
Yeah.
Whoever is going to judge him and what his value to the town, he's been willing to take the risk, or he sold himself and sold the idea that we don't have to send everyone to college, and really we probably shouldn't.
Right, we probably shouldn't.
Is that the responsible thing to do? And I should have mentioned now these manufacturing programs, the way the programs are designed, they don't stop with this thing. When you get hired, you can, to a job, you can go on and get your associates, you can go on and get your BA through the program, but you're employed while you're doing it. And just
continuing education.
Pretty much.
Well, garnering a paycheck.
Yep.
I mean, this ideal situation.
In the East, they refer to it as an exit ramp strategy. You get off the education train when it suits your needs.
Ah, wow.
But if you want to keep going, there are tools in place to have you be able to do that.
Are there big manufacturers involved with this?
Well, that's been the challenge in New Haven because we don't have an electric boat.
Yeah, okay.
So we have to come at it from a different way.
Okay.
And we are.
I mean, we
slowly.
do have Firelight in town.
Yes, and Honeywell.
Right, that's Firelight.
Right, Honeywell,
yeah.
right. Honeywell is
Honeywell.
definitely listening, and I think, Roger will succeed in, getting them
Roger's always just giving
what
them
they need,
kudos.
what they need.
Right,
Whatever it is.
Identifying what their needs are and then seeing, we can fill this.
Yeah. So getting back to our company and the giving back part of all of this, I personally am spending my time, my company is spending their time on this. Some of our group has gone over to the 5-week program and been the speaker for the day. So I mean, we're trying to do that, but we did realize late last year as we were going through what we do and realizing we need to put an umbrella, social responsibility umbrella over what we're doing, because we're not just having some mission statement on our website that says who we are. We're actually out there, and if we could refine it and presenting it to the world. Maybe other people would jump on board. So we're calling it Lighting for the Greater Good.
Social responsibility
Yep.
is appealing.
Well, it makes you feel good at the end of the day,
You know,
right?
And,
Right.
and that's how important is that.
So
right?
we launched the program. The idea is that anybody, at bare minimum, any customer that places an order with us that's over a certain value, and that threshold is low, just so you know. It's not $1,000, but it's low. We're making what we consider to be a sizable donation to the local food pantry in whatever town they're in. We launched here in North Branford for obvious reasons because we're here.
Right.
The next stop was Nantucket, believe it or not.
Okay.
Where my daughter could give you the numbers, but it's close to 60% of the year-round population is on food assistance in
Wow.
Nantucket. And we're finding that with we're going to do another donation in Westchester County, which you wouldn't think that was the case either. And we're seeing how big it is. How big of a problem it is. And so we're hoping that the exposure gets some other companies to think that there's something they can do because it's cash. It's just going straight to them.
And it's amazing, because I'm involved with the community dining room in Brantford, right?
Right.
And we also just did a ribbon cutting in Northford for our satellite. We deliver to homebound people that are in need. And, just look at the percentage of the student population that are on free and reduced lunch. Every community, whether it's Greenwich, North Brantford, it doesn't matter, it's huge. And that just gives you an idea of if these kids aren't in school, then food is a challenge, right? So these are big needs in our community.
The United Way was running trucks through the summers, food trucks through the summers in New Haven, but ways for us to tackle this out here,
Yeah.
over here. I mean, we all have to be thinking about this. I mean, kids shouldn't be hungry. Families should not be hungry.
Right.
The need is so great. And you think about, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You can't solve the problems of the world, but you can try.
We can
you
help,
go down
we can
swinging.
help minimize them
Yeah.
if possible, right?
So we're trying to do right now anything that we're doing, if we see an opportunity to, we told our employees to be involved in this. If they're running in a race for Cancer for the Cure or whatever the case may be, come to us. Let us know. We want to contribute to that. We helped out a really important group in New Haven, Our Kids, that is here for the support of foster families, no matter where they are in the process. Trying to unify, never going to unify, up things up in the air. We don't have a lot of, like I said, individually, I'm not rich, I don't have a lot of money, but 5 guys, and we rented a forklift, and so we could pay for the cost of a forklift to be dropped off to help them move from their new building.
Wow.
And so they're not working, they're
Yeah.
not making lights.
Yeah.
It's the company truck that we're
Right.
moving this stuff in. And like I said, we're just kind of putting it all out there under an umbrella that wherever we can do good, with the focus on the food pantry part of it, because that's a commitment to get out there. But locally, whatever we can do, we're going to do it.
And the great thing about working with like the food pantry and community dining room and all these other, nonprofits is everybody's in it for the same. It's the mission that we believe in, right?
Absolutely.
And I have met some of the best friends I'll ever meet through these, missions, because we all have the same values, and that's one of the best things about North Branford and Northford is like, this community is a very charitable community. And, we all support each other. We all understand that there's needs that we have to try and meet.
Wherever we can. So here it is on tape, is recorded. Count on us. We have a donation for you next quarter.
Awesome. Well, we all appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
This has been enjoyable.
Ever since we first met like a year ago at, an economic development, something or another, I was like, you were just one of the many people I wanted to get in here and just have a chat with.
Well, if there's anything we can do for the community, anybody who's watching this, there's anything, feel free to reach out. There's a way to reach us, I'm sure, at the end of the program.
Sure, at the end of the program, you'll look for the credits, Penn Globe. And real briefly, we're at a time in society where there's some stresses. We have this virus that we don't know much about,
Right.
which is causing the market to go haywire. What are your concerns, short term, and when it comes to business and stuff? Do we just plug through this and keep on going, or how does a business really kind of monitor what's going on and see how it's going to affect you.
I can only speak to our big concern, which is the equity in the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't have the opportunity to say that the people who are in the front of the house who could do their jobs remotely can work from home and get paid while
Right.
the guys who run the equipment can't.
Right.
So we're going to have to wind up paying everybody or nobody, and I think we're going to have to wind up paying everybody because
Right.
I could never do that.
I work in manufacturing, and if I don't show up to work healthy, then we don't, that's what we do. So, it's a big concern for our company and all these other companies. Right? I can't do my job with a laptop.
No. So we're gonna plow through it. Whatever assistance, I heard something today about the SBA, but I mean that'll be a process. It'll be 2 years from now, and that's not a
Sure.
slam on them. That's just how it
How
works.
it is. It's how it's a process.
So we're just going to have to get through. Our goal. We have some very aggressive shipping we're trying to get done in the next 4 weeks, which will help with the cash flow. If, for instance, we had to shut down for 2 weeks and
Then
we
you
weren't
can-
shipping anything, we hopefully would be okay. But the way I look at it is we're all going to be in the same boat. I mean, our customers, I mean, we're all going to be in the same boat. So if we all don't understand each other, and,
Right.
hopefully, I guess the banking community was the big thing today. I'm sure you saw that too.
Yes.
So what they're going to do. But we'll be okay. No,
We'll be okay.
We're not going to die.
No.
We're just going to get sick if we're going to get sick and go back to work, and it'll be a
and
blip.
then move on
And get a vaccination next year.
and get it right.
Right?
And solve another
That's
problem.
what we'll do. So,
Marcia, thank
excuse
you
me.
so much for
Thanks
joining
for having
me.
me. It
this
was really
show.
nice to get to know you a little bit better.
What a thrill.
All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah. it was-
We'll do coffee.
I would love that.
All right.
Well, we can right now.
We
actually,
could,
right
but
after the show.
Okay, sounds good.
So thank you everybody for joining me for another episode of I Want to Know. I look forward to see you all again soon. Please help support Tutucket Times and Tutucket TV, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Hey, good.